When the pain grows, anything goes. Devil is a lie, looking for the prize. That's eternal life, and bringing the things in my mind. I'm talking real peace of mind. That's something money can't buy.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your boy KingMarcell, and I'm back with another video. We about to check out this video called The Dark Rise of Brain Rot Content. These kids are really losing their mind, and I never thought I'd see the day where I was talking about these kids. Good God, how much time is flying by. But the things that these kids are doing nowadays is outrageous. It's sickening to a point, like literally. Like, I understood that during my generation, we was smoking weed, we was doing pills and stuff. I never did that shit, but you know what I'm saying? People in my generation have been tweaking. But for y'all to be taking laughing gas, y'all just saying fuck it. I think I seen a video of somebody literally huffing the laughing gas in front of their friends, and his homies was looking at him like, bro, what you doing? He was like, bro, we ain't doing weed no more. We need straight chemicals. I'm just like, oh, hey, yo, like. But with the climate of how everything has been going, people are just finding different ways to numb themselves and not understanding that it's bringing more detriment, not even just to themselves, but to other people as well as the next generation. So, you know what I'm saying? We're about to check out all of this craziness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. But without further ado,
content is literally making the next generation look like something out of Idiocracy. Dumb, dopamine destroying, attention span numbing clips, GTA Subway Surfers clips with random Family Guy moments and flashy edits. All of this garbage is becoming a cancer on society. But what are the effects this content is having on Generation Alpha, who are currently being born and raised with this stuff in the most formative development years? What will society look like in 20 years time when Generation Alpha grows up with this content, leaving a foundational impact on their brains?
They're not going to be able to listen or pay attention to anything
content is having on Generation Z and Generation
That's what
Alpha.
They want.
And so to begin, we need to understand
they as in the people who are running this and pushing this agenda.
Brain rot comes in different ways, but the common factor is that we are trading our normal real life practices with what we find on the internet. We seem oblivious that we are replacing our basic life decisions with quick, easy solutions without checking if it's from a sound source. Now, of course, not everything on the internet is accurate, and based on each case, it could do more harm than good. And this is the start of brain rot. It replaces
truly, because the internet can be a very good thing if we used it correctly. It's not the fact that the internet is a bad thing, it's the way in which we use it. We have unlimited knowledge at the tip of our fingers, and we use it for social media. Women are using it to post themselves ass naked, and guys are using it to flaunt a lifestyle that they're not truly living. When we could be using it to spread awareness to different things, even though we do to a certain extent, but it's only bullshit. And it's wild that we aren't getting that we have like a ultimate tool in our hands, and we use it for these purposes. I do a lot of study, I do a lot of research, I own a lot of books as well, but I use the internet to learn so much. But then to know on the opposite end is people who just taking in brainwashing from social medias, and then they talk as if they know something. That's the scary part of that all. Of it all, like literally
scrolling through whichever platform, taking in so much trivial information that ultimately is useless to us. But today in 2024, brain rot has taken a whole new level, and the real victims of this are kids. As we all know, most parents today are tired from working. They come home late, tired and exhausted, and want to slump on the sofa. And yet if they have a crying toddler, the simple solution is to put on something entertaining for their toddler so that mom and dad can relax.
That's not okay.
Put on a show like Coco.
And that's why I say a lot of people are having kids and not understanding what it really takes to be a parent. And I say most people, and I hope you all don't take offense to what I'm about to say, a lot of people are pretend parents. They don't see their kid for over half the day because they're at school learning from somebody else. having other mentors, not looking to you as the person who's supposed to be teaching them things and providing for them. They go to school and get fed and get taught there, so that other people are their heroes. Then not only that, it's all in a very sickening way, because at the institutions, they're teaching agendas on top of teaching your kid half the shit that they aren't going to use in life. It's like, we have to understand that as a parent, that means that you're going to be financially responsible, and not only financially responsible, but academically responsible for your child. You're supposed to be teaching your children. Their knowledge is supposed to come from you. But then that's the thing. Most parents, when a kid try to ask for help on their homework, the parent don't even know how to help. Not too many parents know how to help their children with homework. And that goes into a whole list of other things that's going on, because they're changing curriculums. They're making them learn math a whole totally different way. So it's like, so that it's a disconnect from parent to child, from the past generation to the next. It's a disconnect. And everybody feel like they're fending for themselves. But as a parent, you have to understand, your child isn't supposed to fend for themselves. You're supposed to fend for them until they're able to do it on their own. But again, most people, they think they're the parent of the year because they send their kid to school. Your kid gets straight A's and everything like that, but you don't never ask that kid what's really going on. You put them in other programs so they're away from you even more, because you don't really want a kid. And that's the thing. A lot of y'all want to make it seem like you wanted to have children. A lot of people didn't want to have children. A lot of people had kids out of wedlock. And again, I'm not trying to shun y'all, but it's the fact that this is what's going on. And when these things happen, it's like some parents blame the child because they felt like they didn't really get to live their life yet, which that's a very selfish thought. But a lot of parents go through that secret resentment of their child. And I know that to be true, because during the pandemic, abuses in the home went up dramatically. Y'all can check the statistics. Why? Because the parents had to be involved with the children, but they were so used to pushing their child off on other people that now that they had to deal with them, I don't have my freedom. I'm not able to do what I want to do. Your number one job is to be a parent. But a lot of people don't understand that responsibility. And that's something that has to change going forward.
Aren't necessarily trained to take
for
a closer
real
look at what they're watching. Parents just want to do the chores, get the dishes done, and it's taken for granted that CoComelon is safe. After all, they've got tens of millions of subscribers. Every other kid watches this stuff.
Right.
And whilst we're not saying CoComelon in and of itself is a terrible thing, it's the way it's designed and how it's the tip of a rabbit hole that really starts to do damage on children's minds. You see, the show, like many YouTube channels, is designed to keep your child's attention, which means there are constant picture changes every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
What is your toddler learning? Well, nothing but nursery rhymes and a YouTube addiction. But at such a young age, this constant picture change, with flashy edits, constant zooms, crazy over-the-top voices, is more than what a baby can usually process. So the brain has to do everything it can to deal with all of this stimulation.
And that's what locks your baby in on it.
And even
y'all think that's normal. It's not.
It's replaced with a screen showing bright colors and setting up the mind for the new normal. Overstimulation. And this is from the very beginning of their lives. This content is so addictive and the beginning of a nasty rabbit hole that parents are completely oblivious to. And this overstimulation can't be overstated for little kids. There's already been a bunch of controversy with Mr. Beast himself, as this overstimulation has the same effect as street drugs for children. The brain is thrown into the deep water of what it is processing, and it's exhilarating and exciting, but to what end? And you see, this is just the start. As we all know, and as we've mentioned on this YouTube channel before, there is a new phenomenon known as the iPad kids, where the go-to for parents nowadays is to give their kid an iPad to keep them entertained.
Like, why?
Now the child has been taught that this is how entertainment
As a kid, we never had any electronics. We didn't have no electronics growing up. We was broke as hell too. But I thank God that we didn't have electronics like that. We didn't have electronics. We had to go outside and play. They're getting overly stimulated by using technology to the point we don't even see kids outside playing no more. And if they are outside, they on their tablets outside. It's wild.
When all hell breaks loose.
It's a new world for real.
There's no sense of what normal life should actually be like.
Yeah.
Lots of children are no longer able to be in real reality, present and grounded in nature. They have to have overstimulation, constant color changes, bright flashing signals, and so it's almost a survival mechanism to have their iPad now. It's a full-on hardwired addiction to their brain, with a constant urgency to be entertained. Going outside, playing in parks, having picnics, and having social interactions are important parts of growing up and learning. They are the foundational years that set your moral code and your beliefs about the world and other humans. Getting your hands dirty in the mud and being exposed to germs and viruses that build up the immune system is all part of how your body learns to fight or manage environments. But now this is all starting to change, where kids need their stimulation from their iPad, the flashy games, the Subway Surfers, the Mr. Beast videos, to feel satisfied. And this is just numbing their mind as the overstimulation takes its toll. You see, developing your imagination is vital to problem solving, and these tools are being replaced with entertainment that numbs this. But the problem only gets so much worse later down the line, as kids are being deprived of more social interaction, community, being outside, reading books. It starts to really take a toll on their mental development. And one of the questions is, who are these people raising the next generation of society? Who are the moral teachers guiding our children to the future? Well, it's probably some of the worst people in society teaching a child how to think. You see, YouTube clips advertised as educational for kids have been exposed since Elsagate. Now, Elsagate is a name given to clips on YouTube that are presented as child-friendly but are very inappropriate for kids. It's an entire topic on its own. We've actually done a whole video on this.
What the fuck?
That remains that while parents are allowing kids to use iPads, they are never ensured a safe environment and could be exposed to very unsavory behaviors through what they see as just a cartoon. And so as kids are being taught by these predators, these creeps, some of the worst people in society, while having their brain completely rewired, when they go into the education system, it's becoming a complete disaster. Teachers worldwide are battling to hold their students' attention, and they have taken to TikTok and other platforms to discuss this growing problem. Kids in 8th grade cannot spell a list of words. A simple task like this is a sign of extreme ADHD, which is hardly the child's fault. The constant social media intake, bright colors, and addiction to their iPad has not only begun their own brain rot, but set them up for failure. They have the belief that they know everything because they take in so much from the content they watch, but in more ways than we can imagine, using social media as their teacher. A teacher who a few decades ago would be shunned by society. And so the more these kids are supposedly learning from their iPads, the less they actually know. Already we're living in a world of constant distractions all
and that
around
brings to what I was saying at the beginning of this, is that we can use these things to learn a lot. It's just they are funneling children, not just children, but adults, to content that isn't to make them think at all. It's to make them docile. It's to make them not move for a certain period of time. It's so that time is wasted. It's so that they're not learning about current events or learning to further themselves and learning how to create a business or even how to get themselves out of debt if need be. It's all to keep you distracted from yourself and others. They're trying to keep us separated from each other because they know once we come together and we start talking, we're going to realize, why the hell is this shit happening? Those conversations are not going to be had. And then the people who are perpetuating this, the ones who's trying to keep us distracted and not focus on what they're doing, once we start focusing in on the shit that they're doing, are we going to do something about it? Because the shit that they're doing is wild.
Can you imagine how dangerous this could be in situations like driving on the road and the collisions and accidents that result from this? Just recently, a truck driver in Tennessee working for a concrete mix company smashed into the car of a single mother of 4. As the driver attempted to turn left out of a subdivision, distracted, he crashed into her head-on, resulting in around $69,000 in medical expenses. The pre-trial offer was only $70,000. So what do you even do in these sorts of situations? Traditional personal injury law firms often involve burdensome paperwork, time-consuming processes, and costly appointments, making it difficult.
He went right into that ad, didn't he? That was a slick way to go into that ad. I ain't gonna lie to you.
www.forthepeople.com/moon, link in the description below.
Get your bag, bruh.
But then you may be thinking, how is it possible to learn so much and know so little? Well, it's a paradox in and of itself, but ultimately what they are learning has no use or effect on their lives, and if it does, it's to their detriment. Knowledge without application is pretty useless, as the focus has now been removed from what is important like life skills, and shifted to internet fluff. And the result is, we've now got 8-year-olds trying to fit into whatever TikTok trend is viral, with no substance to reality, made up by complete weirdos online. So what happens when Generation Alpha then become teenagers, who can not only focus long enough to spell a word, but can't change a tire or even cook? It's the here and now mentality that's breaking the boundaries of learning simple patience and discipline. If you want a movie, download it. Need food, order it. You feel bad? Look at your iPad. Everything is set up now for immediate results, but the real world and achieving your destiny isn't like that at all.
Exactly.
You have to learn patience, discipline, and embrace the
and actually be doing things moving towards it.
Your life will never have true meaning or substance. In our new world though, reward is expected and not earned. As the brain is now being rewired to get the next dopamine fix to learn anything of value, rather than focusing on the path to getting that reward. This is why playgrounds are emptying out. All hallmarks of imagination and play are being destructed. We are currently watching the youngest generation be desensitized and numbed. And this is really horrific, as it means their dopamine is so fried, they need to constantly up the level to achieve the same sense of fulfillment. And as we're starting to see,
you get used to
making content online weirder and weirder, and influencers are becoming more and more deranged, which is a terrifying fact when statistically 66% of Generation Alpha, literally kids, are using iPads and tablets on a regular basis. It's been a build-up of platforms and what they can offer, from Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. As the platform has mainstreamed our addiction to scrolling reels, we can sit for hours on end, whether it be YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok clips, one reel to the next, and it's almost like we go on autopilot. Almost everybody is addicted to it in some way. It's impossible not to be. And when we do this, we're never really engaging in any kind of useful activity. If you ask anyone what they just watched, there is so much intake of information that we don't really take in. Most people couldn't tell you their favorite reel or what they just viewed hours before. TikTok presents
I talk people off, so I'll be on it. And I realize that, but other people really don't. Other than me and my wife. Like it's not someone who could like tell me something that they even learn from the shit that they've seen on TikTok or the shit that they've watched on YouTube. They're not watching something that's furthering their minds. They're just watching numbness, fucking docile ass entertainment. That's not y'all watching Basketball Wives. What the fuck is that doing to society? What is watching Basketball Wives going to do for society? But all the people that are watching that type of content, they are becoming brainwashed to think, oh, the women are thinking, oh, I should strive to be just a basketball wife. The man, oh, I should just be trying to play basketball instead of a doctor, a lawyer, be in politics. Try to fucking invent something or cure something. No, you get focused in on money and clout. When y'all are killing each other over that. Not even for money. A lot of y'all are selling your souls out for clout. It's crazy the world that we living in today. And it's like, when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna be enough? But a reality check coming. I believe it is.
Scrolling. However, these reels are designed to keep you engaged and scrolling to the next
it's
one.
It's just, man, we got this far.
2 a.m. and your brain is so stimulated by what you just watched and the blue lights radiating from your screen that you can't switch off and go to sleep. Or you just fall asleep because watching reels is making you so exhausted. But on the other side of this pipeline are people making enormous profits from this, as more and more people are starting to realize that if they can add a Subway Surfers clip to some random podcast, they can make bank from BRAINROT clips. And if it's not garbage BRAINROT Family Guy clips mixed in with GTA racing, it's some evil challenge like the Blackout Challenge that literally took a few kids' lives. I mean, children are now getting tattoos done to keep up with the trends that have forgotten in just a week. And because
who the fuck is tattooing a kid? Like, that's how the generate is getting, because of course a kid gonna want a tattoo. Kids see all the dumbass adults with tattoos, but who the fuck is tattooing a kid? Regardless on if the parents consented to it or not, who the fuck will tattoo a child. But that's how far this shit going, man. That's crazy.
On this. Everyone thinks
that's
this
wild.
is a new way to get fame, clout, and money, and it's so easy to do that everybody will do anything to be at the front of people's attention for just 15 seconds. And there is no limit to what people will do to get this attention. Most of the time, completely compromising basic human standards and morals, or even normal stuff like
that's the bitch who licked the ice cream.
Person. There's never a thought to how that homeless person might feel being filmed.
Thank
it's always
you.
about the appearances and nothing of substance. Something that's very new in 2024.
I always found those to be so disingenuous.
But there does come a time in everyone's life when we have to finally go out in the real world, find jobs, and start our lives independently. This is what's happening to Generation Z and will soon happen to Generation Alpha. But this is where brain rot content gets really scary. As you see, the more brain rot content you consume, the more handicapped you become to ever actually go out there and make it for yourself.
Yeah.
Increasingly, Generation Z and Generation Alpha will have no idea how to be social and how to deal with jobs that expect them to work. As we are literally being rewired through these short clips, the rewards aren't earned. Increasingly more people can't hold down a job because they shut down at the first hard task given to them. Problem solving is becoming rarer and rarer. Patience, discipline, and drive is being increasingly numbed. If a job doesn't suit people's ideas of what work should be, they quit and move on. And it's an endless cycle, going from one job to another, constantly chasing the dragon of the next big thing, but never being able to actually grow any roots anywhere. And as people's lives become increasingly alienated and lonely, Generation Z and Generation Alpha continually turn to the online world as a form of escape, resorting to what they've grown up with on their phones, laptops, or iPads to scroll and find online solutions to earn money without ever actually doing anything.
I think the best thing would be to start with a job.
No.
Yeah, absolutely,
No.
she needs a job.
No.
Ain't no fucking way.
Thinking that splicing
He said
with random cuts of the Joe Rogan podcast is actually a business model, besides the odd fluke,
What the
it's
fuck?
a complete pipe dream that has no actual basis in reality. As this becomes more pervasive, it leaves most young adults not equipped to ever build a life for themselves, as people are placing their importance in a fake world that doesn't really exist of online entertainment and random short dopamine hits, failing to learn all the real life skills, morals, and standards that come with the very attributes that are being killed off by these algorithms, feeding a continual loop of if you don't like it, you dump it and move on. You can say whatever you want and have no consequences, you can dress like you want and wear the best fashion design clothing, but all of this is eventually working against you as there are real life consequences to this. Through spending so much time scrolling, people are physically changing through brain rot. People are developing neck problems from constantly looking down at their phone screens.
Yeah.
Other people's skulls are being dented by constantly wearing headphones in front of their laptops. Instead of getting exercise and sunlight, people are getting more fat, more depressed, and more sick. Psychologically, we are growing numb to the outside world, our dopamine fried, resulting in a lack of interest in doing something that might require patience or anything that opposes what the online brain rot content offers, further pushing us into the world of idiocracy. Even being an introvert is on the rise, not because we're introverted, humans are one of the most social creatures out there, but because we're now being pushed into staying at home and not going out.
Yeah.
Statistically, only 20% of people are actually introverts. However, the trend of being an introvert through generation gaps is remarkable. 46% of Generation Z identify as introverts, a massive jump from only 19% of millennials. We're robbing ourselves of real life experiences and trade them in for small moments of entertainment and brain rot. But the worst and most real effect of brain rot is evident in relationships. You see, partners' interests begin to fade as they spend more time on their phones than in actual relationships. Relationships with parents are more strained as Generation Z and Gen Alpha are almost using another language with the slang that they use. Even when the kids try to explain what the slang means, it still leaves their parents confused and worried
Right,
about the
what the fuck is that
degradation
talking
of their
about?
child's communication abilities. Slang like skippity means nothing. It's just a term to say simply, originally coming from a YouTube series called Skibbity Toilet. Now, slang has always been a thing, but now we're literally seeing toddlers turning around to their parents and saying Sigma. Or instead of saying something's gross or bad, literal children are now saying Ohio. The foundation of their language is being built by these random words, becoming part of their normal social language. Now, slang is by far the telltale sign of each generation gap, but the difference is that for the most part, older slang could be explained better, whereas internet slang can't really be explained in full unless you have a basic knowledge of the internet, and in particular TikTok clips. Leaving the older generations frustrated that children are literally learning a completely demented form of English. But overall, it's really just a sign in the breakdown.
that's
of
something I
actual
really
social
didn't think
communications
about.
within children. Since everything is now digital, family photos are being replaced with selfies that are so filtered that it's hard to know what age you really are at the time. We remove the wrinkles, and the poses are so forced. Everyone's lusting after people that don't really exist on Instagram. In 20 years, the photos you show your children will not be authentic or real. The people you love, the people you want to be with, all completely manufactured and fake. Brain rot is something that should bother everybody. If this generation cannot form a sense of discipline now, and not know authentically what is real, how do we teach the next generation what we ourselves do not know? The ripple effect of that alone could be devastating. How many more childhoods have to be lost in the fog of watching endless reels before people realize the true damage of brain rot? Now, of course, there is a flip side to reels and social media. You can learn skills or how to fix something. There is value in seeing things from different points of view, and social media can be great to explore your creativity and artistic attributes. But there's a careful line between this and brain rot. Brain rot is more common than one thinks because there is no control. There is an underlying addiction that isn't being addressed, and like any addiction, it leads to bad consequences. If you go looking for a solution online, get the solution you want, and don't get sucked into scrolling, or you watch a specific video that you were actually looking for, or even at the least just give yourself a time limit, it isn't that bad. And social media can be a great thing. You can learn so much from it. But in doing so, principles like discipline are more important than ever, as it keeps you focused on the real important things. The old ways of learning and living life worked well without the internet, and people were happier because of it. Once people start realizing this and the true dangers of brain rot, only then can we reverse some of the consequences happening.
Literally. And it's as simple as that, but it's the fact people don't want to acknowledge that they are being brainwashed. Like literally, like brain rotting out the side of your ear. Again, I never thought I would see the day where I would see kids like huffing shit out of fucking like paint cans. Like I don't know how much further this society can withstand. Like I honestly don't. We gotta talk. we all gotta talk and have serious conversations about what are we gonna do moving forward. That's just something that I'm realizing that just really has to be done. We can start those conversations here. Let me know down there in the comment section. What do you guys think about all of this brain rot content that's going on? Do you think people are just tripping about it? Do you think it really is detrimental? Even with the little subtle flashes and every 5 seconds it's a new scene. I'm noticing that in a lot of stuff. And it's like, come on, we don't, at least for my generation, it's hard to keep up with that. I can only imagine like being a kid and you were raised in it, you were born in it. But I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. So make sure you guys are hitting that sub button. Sub up to the boy, to the king. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the king. But with that being said, KingMarcell out. Peace.
When the pain grows, anything goes. Devil is a lie, looking for the prize. That's eternal life, and bringing the things in my mind. Talking real peace of mind. That's something money can't.